Is your QuickBooks balance sheet showing out of balance even though you believe all your transactions are correct? A balance sheet that doesn't balance can affect your financial reports, create accounting inaccuracies, and make it difficult to trust your company data. In this video, I'll explain why the QuickBooks balance sheet out of balance issue occurs, how to identify the exact transaction causing the problem, and the best methods to fix it. So, let's get started. A balance sheet is one of the most important financial reports in QuickBooks. It compares your company's total assets against total liabilities and equity. Under normal circumstances, both sides should always be equal. If the totals don't match, QuickBooks displays a balance sheet out of balance issue. This usually indicates that one or more transactions, accounts, or company data components have become damaged or inconsistent. There are several reasons why this happens. It may be caused by customer inventory returns, invoice discounts, credit memos linked incorrectly, multi-currency transactions, damaged company data, corrupted accounts, journal entries with missing account references, or even data corruption after condensing the company file. Before you begin troubleshooting, there are a few important things you should do. First, create a complete backup of your QuickBooks company file. Next, sign out of QuickBooks and sign back in to rule out temporary glitches. If you're working in multi-user mode, switch to the server computer that hosts the company file. Finally, run the Verify and Rebuild data utilities because they often repair minor data damage automatically. Now let's move on to the actual troubleshooting. The first step is identifying exactly when the balance sheet becomes unbalanced. Open the Reports menu and select Balance Sheet Summary under Company and Financial Reports. Click Customize Report, then display the report by year. Compare total assets with total liabilities and equity until you find the year where they no longer match. Once you've identified the year, narrow it down further by changing the report columns from year to month, then week, and finally day. This helps you isolate the exact date when the imbalance first appeared. After locating the affected date, generate a custom transaction detail report. Set the report date to the affected day and choose the same accounting basis, either cash or accrual, that shows the imbalance. Simplify the report by removing unnecessary columns so it's easier to review. Now carefully look through the transactions. You're searching for a transaction whose amount exactly matches the difference shown on your balance sheet. In many cases, correcting or recreating that single transaction immediately resolves the issue. If you cannot identify the transaction, the problem may be caused by damaged company data. One common scenario is when the balance sheet summary is out of balance while the balance sheet detail is perfectly balanced. This usually indicates damage within the chart of accounts. To fix it, identify the damaged account and merge it into a newly created account. Another common situation occurs when the accrual balance sheet is balanced for all dates, but becomes unbalanced for specific date ranges. In this case, review your uncategorized expense account and look for transactions that contain amounts but have no associated item or account. Repair those damaged transactions and rerun the balance sheet. If the cash balance sheet is balanced but the accrual balance sheet isn't, export your chart of accounts into Excel and identify accounts that contain balances without any supporting transactions. These damaged accounts can usually be repaired by temporarily creating a small transaction, running Verify and Rebuild data, and then deleting the temporary transaction afterward. If you've recently condensed your QuickBooks company file, review all journal entries carefully. Sometimes QuickBooks creates journal entries that contain amounts but no linked accounts. Recreate these journal entries manually with the correct account assignments. Sometimes you'll notice that the report balances when using total-only columns, but becomes out of balance when displayed by year, month, or week. This usually points to damaged accounts. Continue narrowing down the report until you identify the affected period, then repair or merge the damaged account. If both cash and accrual reports are out of balance, generate a transaction detail report grouped by account list and include the item column. Look for transactions labeled No Account. Edit those items, temporarily assign a different account, save the changes, then switch them back to the original account. This refreshes the account links and often resolves the issue. If you're still unable to locate the damaged transaction, QuickBooks offers several reports that can help. Run the Customer Transaction Report to identify damaged invoices, payments, or credit memos. Run the Vendor Transaction Report to detect damaged bills or bill payments. Generate the Journal Report to find journal entries where debit and credit totals don't match or where account fields are blank. You should also review the Transaction Detail Report for transactions listed under No Account, as these frequently cause balance sheet discrepancies. In many situations, the imbalance is caused by inventory returns combined with invoice discounts. The best fix is to create a separate invoice for the sale, create a credit memo for the returned inventory, and properly link the credit memo through receive payments. Another common cause is a journal entry linked to a credit memo. In this situation, edit the journal entry and move the accounts receivable line to the source line so QuickBooks can properly associate the transaction. By carefully narrowing down the affected date, identifying damaged transactions, repairing corrupted accounts, and correcting journal entries, most QuickBooks balance sheet out-of-balance issues can be resolved without data loss. However, if the imbalance continues after completing all of these steps, your company file may have advanced data corruption that requires professional repair.